What if I told you there's a moon so violent it makes our volcanoes look like campfires? Io, one of Jupiter's moons, shouldn't even exist the way it does, and yet it endures. It's as if the universe created a factory of chaos just to prove that nothing is impossible. While we believe Earth's rules apply everywhere, Io appears to challenge every certainty we have. The result is a terrifying spectacle that feels alive, beating like a heart on fire. Many imagine space as cold, silent and still, but Io shatters that belief in seconds. There, nothing ever stays the same. Rivers of lava flow, plumes explode, and mountains rise where they shouldn't. Every image sent back by probes shows us a world that knows no rest, only transformation. It's both frightening and mesmerizing, like staring at a nightmare painted in vivid colors. And that contradiction is what grips us, making us question what we even call reality. But the real question is, why is Io like this? How can a moon turn into a blazing hell in the very heart of Jupiter's system? What lies behind this spectacle that feels like a rebellion against the laws of physics? Get ready, because in the next scenes, you'll uncover phenomena that defy our logic. And who knows, you might even realize that Io has more to reveal about us than we ever imagined. Io isn't just another ordinary moon, it's a celestial body living in constant torment. The tidal forces from Jupiter and its other moons stretch and squeeze its structure non-stop. It's like a stress ball being crushed in anger, except this one is made of molten rock. That invisible pressure generates enough heat to turn Io's core into a boiling cauldron. The moon's heart literally burns, releasing energy like an engine that never shuts down. Every movement in this gravitational dance is a silent punch to its interior. Second after second, its crust is tested and forced to adapt to endless pain. It's incredible to think that, from far away, it looks like nothing more than a tiny dot in the night sky. Behind that faint point lies an ever-active hell, pulsing with raw intensity. Io is proof that invisible forces can be the most brutal in the universe. And this burning heart sets the stage for something even more extraordinary. Picture the feeling of running on an endless treadmill. Your body burns, but you never move forward. That's exactly what Io goes through, trapped in a cosmic workout with no rest. Jupiter acts like a cruel trainer, pulling and pushing without giving it a break. Every stretch and every squeeze forces its interior to release more trapped heat. That energy doesn't stay hidden. It erupts in volcanic activity that reshapes its face. Io is a world in constant motion, where the ground is never truly solid. Each day, new cracks split open, and rivers of lava flood freshly formed terrain. Imagine living on a place where the floor beneath your feet is always about to break apart. This endless strain makes Io one of the most violent places ever observed in the solar system. It's the cosmic version of a marathon with no finish line, just sweat and survival. And all this agony leads directly into the next spectacle, volcanoes beyond imagination. These tidal forces act like an invisible conductor, leading a symphony of chaos. Jupiter plays the music of the cosmos, pulling strings that make Io quake and heat from within. Every note in this strange concerto is a gravitational wave, reshaping its surface without mercy. Its boiling core is like a relentless drum, beating in the silence of space. With each strike, another piece of crust is broken and rebuilt in new forms. From our vantage point, it seems peaceful, just a faint light among countless stars. But behind that modest glow is a world in permanent eruption, never at rest. It's a powerful reminder that the unseen can be far more violent than what we see. Io is like a natural laboratory where the universe reveals its strength without filters. It's the burning heart of the Jovian system, blazing as a cosmic warning. And that relentless fury leads us straight into the next chapter, the spectacle of its active volcanoes. On Earth, when we think of volcanoes, we immediately recall Vesuvius, Etna, or even Krakatoa. But on Io, every imaginary city would have its own Vesuvius erupting at the same time. There are over 400 active volcanoes scattered across its surface, a true inferno of chaos. It's like standing before a cosmic version of an endless fireworks display. Only instead of colorful lights in the sky, there are rivers of lava shaping mountains and plains. Each eruption on Io is a spectacle blending power and destruction on an absurd scale. It's impossible not to compare it to a feverish planet, spitting fire without pause. The tidal forces act as fuel, feeding this constant inner rage. Io is, at its core, a moon condemned to eternal eruption, as if it were forbidden to ever cool down. And every volcano that opens up is visible proof of the pain, hidden in its burning heart. The whole scene looks like a battlefield, where the enemy is the very ground beneath your feet. When NASA released the first detailed images of Io, many people were stunned. I myself felt like I was staring at a world about to burst from within. Its lava plumes rise to an astonishing 300 kilometers high into space. To picture that, imagine a skyscraper with 30,000 floors spewing fire into the sky. That comparison helps us grasp the scale of each eruption. We're not talking about mountains trembling. We're talking about open wounds in space. Io looks like a living organism, constantly bleeding fire and sulfur every second. It's as if the moon is forced to reveal its inner pain in explosive, merciless ways. Every eruption recorded becomes a warning that this world knows no rest. And every plume that rises is a reminder of how gravity itself can create a spectacle. On Io, the impossible seems ordinary, and that is both fascinating and deeply unsettling. These volcanoes are not only impressive in number, but also in variety. Some shoot lava in towering fountains, others form glowing lakes that shine like mirrors. The moon's surface becomes a living mosaic in constant renewal and destruction. Io is like a restless artist, painting and erasing canvases with fire each new day. And strangely enough, amid all this violence, there is a bizarre kind of beauty in every image. It's like watching a performance that mixes fear, awe, and a strange sense of wonder. The constant explosions make it feel as if time runs faster on Io than it does for us. Everything is always changing, always in motion, as if stability simply doesn't exist there. It feels like looking at a world that has no concept of peace or silence. And this relentless instability opens the door to another equally striking phenomenon: its colors. Because even in the middle of volcanic chaos, Io still finds a way to dress itself in art. When we look at Io, we don't see a grey, lifeless moon like so many others in the solar system. What appears instead is a spectacle of colors that feels ripped from a surrealist painting. Bright yellows, strange greens, fiery reds, and splashes of white mixed together without order. It's as if an artist had spilled cans of paint over a glowing sphere. But each of these colors has an explosive origin, volcanic eruptions leaving visible scars. Yellow, for instance, comes from sulfur, carrying the stench of burning, rotten eggs. The vivid reds reveal fresh lava, still hot, sculpting new landscapes. The whites and grays are frozen deposits that cling amid the chaos. And so Io is both beautiful and repulsive at once, a mix that inspires awe and fear. It's proof that even horror can be transformed into a strange kind of art. Every colored stain hides a story of fire, destruction, and rebirth. It's fascinating to think how these colors stir our deepest emotions. When I first saw images of Io, I felt an odd mix of fascination and disgust. It was like staring into a bonfire, beautiful and hypnotic, yet dangerously alive. The yellow seemed to shine like gold, but carried with it the idea of decay. The fiery red evoked both life and destruction, an intense paradox. This duality is what makes Io unforgettable, like a nightmare painted in flames. Every detail reminds us that in the universe, beauty and danger walk hand in hand. Io doesn't try to be harmonious. It flaunts its violent colors without shame. It's as if space itself had created a painting with brushes of molten rock. Looking at this moon is to feel that beauty isn't always comfortable or safe. And that impression grows even stronger when we turn to its impossible mountains. What makes Io unique is precisely this contradiction between vibrant colors and brutal chaos. It's as if the universe decided to provoke us, creating beauty out of destruction. Each new eruption is like an artist starting over, painting a fresh canvas with fire, and the result is never the same because Io is always reshaping itself into a living artwork. This chromatic spectacle is both enchanting and terrifying to witness. It feels like standing before a place where the very aesthetics of fear take physical form. Io proves that not everything that shines is peaceful or safe. Often it's a threat. Its contrasts remind us that life itself is built on intense paradoxes. And just like us, this moon wears its scars almost proudly and openly. Every shade is a confession of its pain, a signature written in lava and sulfur. And these painted scars lead us to another enigma, its impossible mountains. Amid a world of eruptions and rivers of lava, the unexpected happens. Mountains rise. Io holds colossal formations, some even taller than Mount Everest here on Earth. One striking example is Steeple Mountain, standing like a lonely spear piercing the sky. It's like seeing a knife driven into still-burning ground, almost impossible to imagine. While everything around seems to melt, these structures remain proudly standing. They shouldn't exist in such a chaotic setting, and yet there they are, firm and unyielding. Each mountain feels like a challenge to logic, as if defying the fire itself. The contrast is brutal, chaos all around, stability at the center, like a rock of faith. Io shows us that even in hostile environments, something can rise against all odds. That vision is so powerful, it reminds us of the strength of resilient people. And it's in this human parallel that Io's mountains take on even deeper meaning. Looking at these formations reveals that the impossible can indeed become real in space. The mountains emerge from compression and uplift of the crust driven by inner forces. It's as if the ground had pent-up rage and decided to erupt upward in protest. Some climb over 10 kilometers high, surpassing anything we know on Earth. Each one is a cosmic scar, the result of pressures that could no longer be contained. The most curious part is that, unlike volcanoes, these mountains don't spit fire. They simply stand there, silent witnesses to Io's constant chaos. It's like seeing solitary skyscrapers rising in the middle of a burning battlefield. Their presence stirs a feeling that blends both respect and fear. Io doesn't follow our rules. It creates order within collapse. And these mountains are the clearest proof that chaos can also give birth to structure. When I think of these formations, I'm reminded of people who rise even in crisis. Like Steeple Mountain, some souls manage to endure even under extreme pressure. While everything crumbles around them, they find the strength to remain upright. Io's mountains feel like metaphors for the resilience we see in real life. It's fascinating to realize that cosmic nature mirrors human behavior. Chaos doesn't prevent strength. It may even be its cradle. Each lonely peak is a reminder that resilience is born in hostile ground, and that we don't need perfect conditions to grow, only courage. Io translates this message in its rawest form, carved in fire and molten rock. These mountains push us to question how far our own endurance can go, and they prepare us for an even greater enigma, the myth of a magma ocean hidden inside. For a long time, scientists believed that Io hid a global ocean of magma. The idea was tempting, imagining a sea of fire flowing beneath its entire crust. It would be like looking at a hollow planet, filled not with crystal water, but with lava. But more recent research has revealed a different, even more complex reality. There isn't a single vast ocean, but many local chambers scattered through the moon's interior. Each one works like a pressure cooker, boiling non-stop beneath the surface. It's as if Io were a building full of apartments, each one housing its own fire. These inner pressures show themselves in eruptions spread across the terrain. That explains why its surface never stays stable for long. Io is made of compartments of chaos, each with its own flame. The result is an organism that seems to pulse as if it were truly alive. Thinking about these local magma chambers reminds us that nature is rarely simple. The universe seems to enjoy showing us gears full of hidden details. Instead of a uniform pool of lava, Io has isolated pockets of raw energy. These pockets connect or clash, creating explosions of different scales. It's as if Io were a laboratory of eruptions, each with its own personality. This discovery changed not only how we understand Io, but also other worlds. It proved that the first hypothesis isn't always correct, and that the improbable is common. The moon became an example of why science must constantly revisit its certainties. It reminds us that mystery never disappears, it only changes shape and intensity. Each new discovery is like opening another door into hidden corridors of fire, and these revelations push us to reflect on our own inner pressures. I like to compare these magma chambers to the emotions we carry inside our chest. We all have small, hidden flames, pressures we try to keep under control. Sometimes one erupts as anger, other times as passion or as courage. And just like Io, we don't always realize how much has built up until it suddenly explodes. These pockets of energy are part of life, and they shape our emotional surface too. It's fascinating to see how the cosmos mirrors our struggles through such grand metaphors. Io teaches us that every inner flame, even when hidden, has the power to transform. The secret lies in learning to understand and channel these energies before they destroy us. Just as scientists study magma chambers, we too can study ourselves and discover how to use our inner pressure as a driving force rather than a crushing weight. This reflection gains even more strength when we consider Juno's watchful eye on Io. The Juno spacecraft gave us the chance to see Io in a way we had never imagined before. Instead of static images, we began to witness eruptions unfolding in real time. It was like watching a documentary of a living world, breathing fire with every moment. The instruments detected lava lakes the size of entire cities. Some of these lakes shone so brightly they lit up Jupiter's night. The surface revealed collapses that looked like craters, swallowing themselves whole. Io was no longer just a distant moon. It became a pulsating stage of constant change. Every piece of data sent by Juno unveiled an even greater surprise. It was like watching a planet reshape itself day after day, without pause. The feeling was like seeing a heart beating outside a body in the void of space. And all of this proved that the impossible can indeed be captured with the right gaze. Juno's images showed Io as a body in accelerated transformation. It was as if we were witnessing a compressed version of Earth's geological history. But instead of taking millions of years, it all happened in days or weeks. Each eruption felt like a new chapter, rewriting the crust in record time. It was like watching a wound heal, only to tear open again, never truly closing. The contrast was striking, absolute chaos and hypnotic beauty in the same frame. Juno gave us not only data, but also a new perspective on cosmic life. We realized the universe is far more dynamic and violent than we usually imagine, and that the apparent calm of space hides unimaginable, profound movements. Every eruption observed was a reminder that nothing is static, except our ignorance. And this insight reshaped the way we understand the Jovian system itself. Reflecting on what Juno revealed makes us realize the universe is never still. It pulses, moves, and recreates itself, just as Io showed us in every image. It's impossible to look at those eruptions and not feel that the cosmos is alive. Not alive like us, but alive in its endless power to transform. Juno showed us that destruction is also a creative act on a cosmic scale, that every explosion is a rebirth and every collapse an invitation to the new. This vision awakens in us a deep sense of humility before the unknown, and it shows how much we still have to learn about worlds so close yet so strange. Through Juno's lens, Io stopped being just a point of light in the sky. It became a mirror of the universal force that shapes everything around us. And that mirror urges us to reflect on what Io might teach us about ourselves. Io isn't just a distant spectacle, it's also a mirror of our own lives. It reminds us that not everything has to follow the rules we create to make sense of the world. While we imagine stability, Io shows us that chaos can be the dominant rule. It's as if the universe were saying, "I don't care what you think is possible." Udum. This lesson is powerful because it invites us to accept that the unexpected is part of the path. We often try to fit life into predictable patterns, but reality has a way of breaking them apart. Io proves that the extraordinary can exist right before our eyes without asking permission, that the absurd doesn't need logic to sustain itself. It only needs to exist and endure. It's an unsettling reminder that the control we long for is nothing but an illusion. And that, just like its surface, we too are in constant transformation. The impossible, after all, may be closer than we think. When I think of Io, I remember moments when life itself felt absurd, situations where nothing made sense, yet they were undeniably real. Like sudden crises that arrive without warning, changing everything in an instant, or twists that seem to defy logic, but end up shaping who we are. Io works as a metaphor for those unpredictable chapters we all go through. It shows us that we don't need to understand everything in order to move forward with courage, that even in uncertainty, there can be hidden beauty in the process. Every volcano on Io can be compared to a pain erupting inside us. But every eruption also opens space for unexpected rebuilding. It's in this duality that Io connects so deeply with our human stories. And in that connection, science steps aside to let the soul be touched. Io teaches us that life is not made only of order, but of creative chaos too, that our greatest challenges can be hidden engines of growth. That instability doesn't need to be just a reason for fear, but also for evolution. Just as its surface is remade every day, we too can start again. Io reminds us that even in the middle of fire, something new can be built. It reveals that uncertainty is part of the universal experience, not a flaw, and that embracing the unpredictable can free us instead of paralyzing us. When we look at Io, we're looking at ourselves on a cosmic scale, a reflection blending pain, beauty, instability, and strength all at once. And in that mixture, we discover that we're made of the very same material as the universe, a material that never stops transforming, even when faced with the impossible. After discovering Io, it's impossible to look at the night sky the same way again. This moon showed us that chaos can be creative and that the impossible can be real. But the real question is, what do you do with that kind of knowledge? Do you see your own inner volcanoes as enemies or as engines? Your answer could transform the way you face life. Now I want to hear from you. What struck you most about Io? Was it its burning heart, its impossible volcanoes, or the colors that blend beauty with fear? Share your thoughts in the comments. Your perspective may open new ways of seeing this world. That dialogue is what turns curiosity into collective discovery, and every reflection you share helps keep this flame of exploration alive. If the universe can reinvent itself at every moment, so can we. So don't let this journey end here. Subscribe to the channel right now. Turn on the bell so you don't miss any of our dives into the cosmos. After all, there are still countless secrets waiting to be uncovered together, and you won't want to miss the next step of this endless voyage.